Hello and welcome to Situation Court, where we help people that are caught in the middle of a tough dispute. Each person gets a chance to fully tell their side of the story and ask a few questions. This will help them come to some sort of resolution. And the best part of the show is that you are the judge. We do have a judge that goes by the name of Judge P. He's not really a judge, but more so a mediator. And because of budget cuts, he's also a part of security. After you watch the show, click on the Cases tab and vote for who you think won the case. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Situation Court. I'm your host, Judge P. Today we got Chris in here. Keep everybody safe. Today's episode, Who Killed Courting? I'll let my guests introduce themselves now. My guest to my left, please tell us your name, a little bit about yourself, and why you're here.
My name is Ashley Hickman. I'm from Hampton, Virginia, and I'm here to debate on why I believe men killed courting.
Okay, thank you for that. Guest to my right, please tell us your name, where you're from, and why you're here.
My name is JoBarie Townsend. I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia, and I'm here to debate why women killed courting.
Okay, thank you for that. Now it's time for our first session, testimony and questions. Guest to my left, Ashley, it's your turn to give your testimony.
I believe men killed courting and continuously to kill it in today's dating atmosphere or relationship when you're trying to date, because it has just become so easy for men to get the things that they want from women, whether it be attention, financial, physical body things and things like that. I just feel like it's no effort put into it. Women can sit and say, well, I want to go to the movies, or I want to go bowling, or I want to do these different things that are considered dating, or things that follow under what courting is. However, when you mention those things, a lot of times you're looked at like, I'm not trying to go to the movies. Why you want to do that? Or I only want to go to the club, so let's go to the club. And if it's not the club or something where it's going to be a lot of other people there, like they don't like to do intimate things and things like that.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from. JoBarie, do you have 3 questions for Miss Ashley?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
My first question is, do you know any woman that's made the mistake of trying to fix a man when his actions have shown, even for a split second, what his true intentions or colors are as a person?
Yes, I do know some.
Okay, next question.
Question 2, is a woman God's most amazing gift to a man? In the famous words of Method Man, nothing makes a man feel better than a woman.
Yes.
Question 3, does Louis Vuitton ever discount its price or go on sale?
No.
You were stuck on that one.
No.
Okay.
I was waiting for her to let me know where the discount was.
I would know the discount. Yeah. Okay, Mr. JoBarie, time for your testimony, please.
So, Judge, women killed the courting process.
Okay.
Based off of ultimately what Miss Ashley said, them deciding, are we going to the movies? Are we going to the club? Do you get to meet their parents? The woman sets up the situation for the men to have to follow. And the discouraging part of it is understanding that the right man will go through those steps to get that right woman. Often at times where you won't deal with as much drama, because if you tell a man, hey, you got to do this, and this, if he's not the right man for you, he's going to tell you deuces and go on. So that's it. The courting process cuts out the issues that you have to deal with, because ultimately, if he doesn't want to take you to the movies, if he doesn't want to meet your parents, or whatever case may be, genuinely that means that's not the right man for you.
Boom. Miss Ashley, do you have questions for Mr. JoBarie?
Yes.
Okay.
Were you raised in a 2-parent household during the ages of 5 to 10 years old?
Yes.
Do you believe the man leads in a relationship?
Yes.
Do you believe dating and courting are the same thing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Now it's time for our second session called the Freestyle Session. JoBarie, we'll start with you. Your first question for Ashley was, do you know of any women that have made the mistake of trying to fix a man? And she said yes.
Yes, and fixing a man is the main problem that you're not getting a chance to get handled going through the courting process. If you chose to fix a man, that means you didn't allow enough time to go through the courting process for the man to show his true colors so you could decide, so the woman can be empowered and make the decision, is this the kind of man or is this the situation that I want to deal with?
And I would have to say there's a thin line between that and controlling men, because at the same time, that may be the case with women, but then you may have those men who you give the opportunity, but they're controlling, so they're more trying to change you versus liking you for actually who you are.
Okay. Got some challenging going on. Okay, Miss Ashley, your first question for him was, were you raised in a two-parent home from the ages of 5 and 10? And he said yes.
So my question was that because I believe that children mimic what they see. And if you grew up in a household where you saw a woman and a man, they were actually not just only what we see in the African American families a lot is fussing, but where you see they actually go on dates. They're sitting down for dinner, having that talk time with not just themselves between each other, but with also the children. So when you see that, you see, hey, my mom and dad went to the movies last night, or my mom and dad went on a vacation where we couldn't go. You start to believe that that's the norm and how a man and a woman's relationship is supposed to be.
Okay. What do you say about that, sir?
I said yes. So I guess I agree with everything that she just stated. I did have that blessing to grow up in that situation. So I agree with what she said. It does make a difference as far as actually being able to see those relationships and see, and that provides you the expectation to provide for yourself and your situation and be able to say, you know, I would like to have a family under one roof or anything like that. So I agree with her statement.
Okay. JoBarie, you asked Ashley, is a woman God's most amazing gift to a man? And she said yes.
She said yes. This is the yes. This is why I should win.
Okay.
So because she said yes and she agrees, and I agree that women is the most amazing gift that God gave us, there's nothing a man is not willing to do for the right woman. So once you draw the line and that's the woman I'm after, and she says your standards are here, when you find that, when any man finds a woman that he's after, he's willing to do what's necessary when he sees the worth in that woman to jump through those hurdles, because women, they're amazing. Like, life is built around a woman. If women disappear tomorrow, like, I ain't going to work. I ain't wearing no clothes. I ain't doing no reviews. I'm going to give me a sword and we just...
Sir, you're saying too much truth right now. And we're going to go to Ashley. What do you have to say about that, ma'am?
Well, I do believe, like, because it says in the Bible that when a man finds a good woman, he findeth a good thing. However, just because you find a good woman, a lot of times men find multiple good women. And because they're not ready to accept what she has to offer, they play the games and they act as if they don't know what courting is. Or when you say, well, let's go to the movies, they act like as if they don't really even know what the movies is. Like, this is just, the list could go on and on for those type of men. Now, am I saying all men are like that? No. However, there are a lot of men out there that are still available in 2019 in the dating site or dating atmosphere world that are like that.
Okay, Miss Ashley, you asked JoBarie, do you believe that men lead in a relationship? And he said yes. What do you have to say about that?
I believe that was a good question, because if we're basing our scenario off the diaphragm, it goes from God or Jesus to husband to wife. How can the husband not be the leader if they come before the wife? I feel like in anything, as long as the man is positive about it or encouraging about it, or this is something he wants to do, then 9 times out of 10, the woman is willing to do those things. But then if you flip-flop and say the women are saying, I want to do these things or I want to do this, a lot of times the man feels as if it's more of an option versus something he has to do because they're in a relationship and sacrifice. So I guess it's a thin line between sacrificing that can explain as to why I feel like men should lead and women should follow versus women leading and men should follow.
How you feel about that, sir?
That's an interesting point. When I say we're leading, say for example in my own life being married, my wife will be the backbone. So sometimes in the sense of leading, you may be slightly in the front, but it's really sometimes, if nothing else, just for protection to take the bullets. Like the backbone still holds you up and still, is the root to, I wouldn't be where I would be without her guidance. So, her love, her, all that she brings to the table. So, it's leading not in the sense of an ego. It's leading in the sense of more of a responsibility to, no party is less important than the other. But, as a man, if you're going to lead a family, there's certain responsibilities that you need to take in control and understand that, when it hits the fan, you need to make sure that happens. So, that's my space as far as leading. Not woman is second or lesser, but just you got business you need to handle as a man, so you need to lead.
Well, that question that she asked and you kind of agreed with, for me, what's popping up in my head is when you stated the women set the standard for the situation. So in one breath, it's like the woman says that she wants to do this, this, and this, but her perspective is the man should want to take her out and say, we're going to do this, this, and this. So the leading aspect can go into that realm as well. So that kind of sways, because we all, as men, we both were like, woman is everything and we'll do anything for them. But she's basically saying we should set that standard.
So my perspective, when she says leading in a relationship, we've passed dating, we've passed courting. You're talking about an established relationship via, marriage or a serious relationship. That's what the man is leading. If we're going to talk about just casually dating or the courting process, the man isn't leading that space, because ultimately the courting and the standards that the man either has to do or not do is based off of the woman's her opportunity to say, this is, you're either going to, whatever her standards are, you're going to have a job, you're going to take care of your kids. If you have kids, you're going to have good credit, and you're going to take me out on a date. And if you're not interested in that, then you'll go elsewhere. So that for me, when the courting part of it, it's that's not what I'm saying when I say the men are leading. Okay. The question to me was in a relationship. In a relationship, a man is leading because he's already went through that process and already agreed that he's willing to try to live by these standards.
So you saying it switches from one place, the courting, you say the woman sets the standard, but then when you get in a relationship, the man kind of sets the standard.
Yes.
Okay. JoBarie, you asked Miss Ashley, does Louis Vuitton ever discount its price or go on sale? And she said no.
No. That goes again to the courting process and her standards, or women's standards in general. Women, again, they set the rules to it. So when they set the proper rules, Louis Vuitton doesn't go on sale. So either you're going to pay this much or you're not going to get it. So from my perspective, if I don't have a daughter, but if I had a daughter, I want my daughter to say, these are the standards. If you're interested in dating me, this is what I expect. We too often say a good man, but we don't know what a good man looks like. But you say a good man, but how do you define that? So if you define what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, either you're going to step to the plate and have these standards or you're not. So that's the reflection back to Louis Vuitton not going on sale, is because you either can pay for it or you're not. They're not interested in any kind of discount or any kind of sale or anything like that.
And that goes directly with her statement of when she says, let's go on a date to a movie, and they're saying, I don't gotta go to a movie, or I don't know what that is. You're basically saying, if that's what you want, this is what I want. If you can't meet that, then you're not for me.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what do you have to say about his Louis Vuitton analogy?
Well, I'm going to have to argue that from what I do in life as a successful African-American woman, that is not in the real world, because a lot of times you can sit here and say, well, I have this at a high standard because I know what I like and I know what it is that I want. And a lot of times, like for an example, myself, I don't believe in having sex early in a relationship, when even if you're just dating, courting, or have just met someone. I have taken a lot of losses with having a boyfriend possibly, and maybe even a husband, because a lot of men don't understand as to why I don't want to have sex already. And it's like, okay, and like you say, they do go elsewhere, just like women go elsewhere when a man won't do what they want. A man goes elsewhere when they don't get what they want. So when intimacy is an issue, a lot of times that successful woman, whatever race she is, it doesn't have to specifically be African American, but she has to take that loss. And then 3 years may go by, 5 years may go by, and she's still a single successful person, but because of her so-called standards in life, it has left her alone in a relationship world.
You talking some real stuff there. Okay. You asked JoBarie, do you believe that dating and courting are the same thing? And he said yes.
So, I believe that dating and courting are not the same thing. And if you base it off of what the Bible states, dating it's actually a time where you're getting to know someone, learning someone's beliefs, morals, principles of life. Of course, being intimate physically and things like that. When you're actually courting someone, it's when the two individuals have decided to not have sex or any of those things until they're married. So there's no kissing, there's no sex, there's no a lot of different things. A lot of times when those two people are actually even together, it's when family and other people are around to prevent them from wanting to do those things that, you know, when you're with someone that you significantly like, what your body tends to want to do those things. So if you base it off what the Bible says dating and courting is, it's not the same thing. And that's why there becomes a thin line when people are dating and they're saying, well, courting is a woman's fault or courting is a man's fault. A lot of times it's when a man is supposed to lead. So if that man is leading by the diaphragm, God, husband, wife, then he's living a godly world. So he would already know and what courting actually is. And he would know once he decides that's the woman. He respects her for wanting to keep her body sacred, for not wanting to share those things with her and things like that. And understands, okay, well, I'm really going to actually just date her and get to know her, not anything of the physical form.
Talk to me, JoBarie.
I have quite a few thoughts on that. She brought up some points in a space I didn't necessarily think that was the direction it would go.
Shot me too.
So speaking from first, I guess we would have to define courting versus dating. I'm not going to touch the Bible perspective because without having the actual scripture in front of me, I don't want to misquote. But I don't define, I guess, in the sense of a thing that she said that stuck out with me was from the courting space to the dating space and it being a physical relationship. The reason why I would say the process you would court, or another phrase of court would be attempt to get with that woman. So as you've showed courting to me, it would be I've identified, I have interest in her, I've hollered at her, I want to get to know her, and she sets up the boundaries of how I'm going to get to know her. So she set up, okay, you want to get to know me? Like, let's go out to eat and you're paying for it, or let's go to a movie, or come meet my parents, or I want to go somewhere. We're not just going to the club, we're not just going to your house, whatever the case may be. So when I break it up in the sense of the courting, it gets courting, as the courting process happens, then dating happens as well. For me, I don't really draw a hard line into marriage, because if you ain't married, you're single. So like you can have a girlfriend or boyfriend for 20 years, but it's what's on your taxes. It's you know. So to me, that's how courting and dating could ultimately go together, because it's just the woman setting up those boundaries, and like the woman decides the boundaries physically and she decides if she answers the text or say where we can go, where we cannot go. Those are what the woman decides in the situation. So that's why I lean towards them similar, just because I give it the hard cut in between the marriage point. Until then,
it's all in the same blur.
Dating, it's kind of
same.
They all got something going on.
I feel like you got something to say, man.
I do, because I just don't agree with him keep saying that it's based off the woman setting the boundaries, because even when the woman sets the boundaries, a lot of times the woman fails at getting that man that's going to even address the boundaries or that wants to sit around with the boundaries. So a lot of times it can take you back where they say it's a thin line between a woman choosing a man and a man choosing a woman, because just because you set those boundaries and this is the guy that you choose to like, and you may want him to do these different things, who's to say that he wants to do those things with you after he has already hollered at you and has shown some type of interest? But then, hey, you don't know what he did Friday night where so-and-so may have came along and he met her, and now it's okay, well, she has his attention. So even though I'm still doing what I'm thinking I'm supposed to be doing by setting these boundaries, you don't even know that you lost interest already. He's lost interest.
I agree with you. Can I go back on that?
Go ahead, you can.
So I think the part that I agree with you, that it just slightly from the angle, because life is so much just perspective.
Right.
So when a guy tries to get with you and you set him your boundaries and he decides he didn't want to participate, I don't feel like you lost. I feel like you actually won, because now you've not had to deal with a man that really wasn't serious about you in the first.
But what happens when you catch the area where you don't know that he is not interested? So now you have to deal with, okay, I'm thinking that we're still getting to know each other, but whole time he's not only entertaining you because, quote unquote, we're dating or courting each other. So meaning some people may have in their mind that definition means multiple. So then what?
So I think for me, the courting, you don't court a man. Like, so it's just him pursuing you, because ultimately, like, you're the prize. Like, you make it worth it. Like, so if he doesn't want to play by your rules, in my opinion, he just wasn't the guy for you, and you deserve. You literally dodged a bullet versus a.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I get that part.
I think we could probably go on for this for about 3 days. That was a great freestyle session. I appreciate both of you guys' views. Both of you guys coming from a passionate place that I can understand where you're both coming from. Now it's time for Judge P's perspective. I would like to start off by saying, Big Chris, thus far, who you got going? Who you rolling with?
They made some very good points between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm over here today.
Okay.
Come on, Big Chris, give me some.
Okay. Tell me why.
Just because I agree with the how he says about the men. If you're interested, you're gonna do what you gotta do to get that woman. If you're not, then you're gonna play games and do your own thing.
Okay. Miss Ashley, your point of view, your thought process, I can appreciate it. And you come from a place of experience. You come from a place of honesty and just what you see happening on a day-to-day basis. And I can't say that you're wrong, right? JoBarie, you come from a place of, to me, you are a man in which you know you should treat a woman the way that she deserves to be treated, especially if she puts that standard for you. Basically, a man will pick a woman that he wants, and he'll do what he wants for her, right? So the topic is who killed courting, right? So I'll have to say, unlike Chris, I'll have to say Ashley won. And I'll say why. I say that she won because we can't keep saying what the woman wants. They actually want to be led. So if we keep asking or waiting for them to tell us what they want us to do, that proceeds into the relationship of them leading everything. Where I believe that the man should say, hey, I want to take you out here. Remember the phrase when we say, be dressed at 6, I'll come get you? That takes the whole dynamic away by keep asking them or waiting for them to set the standard. So if we set the standard and they don't like it, let them walk away. Not them set the standard and we see if we want to rise up to it. And again, that's just my perspective. I feel like a lot of men are sitting back waiting for the women to make decisions, and we're becoming soft in that aspect. And a strong woman such as Ashley, she don't want no weak man. And I can say that without her even saying that yet. And not to say that a man that wants to take care of a woman is weak. I'm not saying that at all. It's just, I feel like we should set the standard more. And that's just my perspective. But now it's up to the people to vote on who they think won on this situation. Visit us at www.situationcourt.com. And I thank my guests. Have a great day.
Judge P, he not still here. Judge P could not have been wronger. He was wrong. I want to pull his judge papers, pull his credentials. He was wrong. I won. I should have won. I will be contacting my lawyer, so we will be putting in appeal paperwork. So we'll get back on this show and get the win we deserve. Everything I said is pretty straightforward. And you guys want to follow me, contact me. Check out my IG. It's Mr. Online Reviews. I'm going to do a show there as well. Peace and love.
I agree with Judge P's ruling. Of course, he ruled in favor of me. I believe that a lot of women would love to sit back and take the easy road and let the men do all the leading and just following whatever it is that he wants us to do. It sets the tone for a lot of things, not just the relationship. I believe that men, if you treat women as if they were your daughters, which is an actual lyric from a new song that just came out called Changes with Young Money On, and Mal is featuring in it. Mal actually makes a statement saying, men, if you treat them like your daughter, it's hard to disrespect them. And I really believe firmly in that statement, because if you look at someone as if they are your mother or your daughter, then you would show utmost respect at all times to a female, whether it is someone that you're actually dating or just someone that's around you in your atmosphere. Be sure to follow me on social media at Ashley_Hickman and my company pages at The Hickman Brand and at VA Kids Fashion Week. Thank you.
Whew. That was a great episode. Who killed courting? I know I sided with Ashley. It's one of the situations where I could have went with JoBarie as well. Truth of the matter is, we all could use some help when it comes to courting, dating, just interacting with each other. I believe that it all starts with being honest. If we all were honest with ourselves first, and then honest who we choose to date or talk to, things can go a lot smoother. Out here pretending and acting like we want something when we really don't, or lowering our standards to date someone that we like. If we stayed on course to what our truth is, I think everyone will end up in a better place. It won't be easy, but the best things are worth fighting for. Till next time on Situation Court.
That concludes our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Now it's time to cast your vote on who you think won. We will announce the winner next week. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. From all of the great staff here, we wish you a wonderful day and stay tuned for the next episode. Have a good day. Bye.